welcome to our Clarity and Focus session today. Today, we're probably talking about one of my most favorite topics in the world, and that is branding. Branding to make sales, or branding for business. And there's a lot of ideas, a lot of connotations around branding, but it's really weird that a lot of people don't pay enough attention to building their brand in their agencies. If you want to build a brand, or if you go focusing on building a brand, you're going to have an asset. You're going to have a business that has recognition. You know, if you look at Apple, Apple is a brand, right? So with Apple, if they launch a new product, bring a new thing to the market, they are a brand based on a vision, an experience, an idea. There's an emotional connection to the crazy product that Apple is. And I just dropped one of those Apple products on the floor, which is my phone. Just excuse me for a second. Pick it up. I just dropped a brand on the floor, right? But this device here is part of a brand, right? This device is part of a brand. And so one of the things, if we look at, say, for example, Hyatt Hotels. Now, Hyatt Hotels are a hotel chain, and they provide a product and a service amongst many other hotel chains in the marketplace, but they don't have a unique story. If Hyatt decided to open up another product or bring a new product to market, in terms of impact-wise, I don't think they would have that much great an impact, because they don't have that sense of loyalty. People don't really care too much, because there are Hilton, Marriott, they all have very, very similar product in the marketplace. In fact, some of them have different brand ranges in products to service their key markets. So to me, the idea of a brand, or building a real brand, is creating an emotional connection with your audience, or with the team. So I'll share with you why this is really important from making a sales perspective. I'm going to walk you through some concepts and some ideas. I have been in the lab putting some slides together for our presentation today, and then, like I do every day on these sessions, I want to answer your questions. I want to, I guess, gain some intelligence, but I also want to make sure that I help you in this moment as you're growing your business as well. So I'm just going to share my screen, and you should be able to see my screen right now. Okay, I'm just going to move myself off into the corner there in the thing. So branding and positioning to make sales. So you'll notice behind me is my brand. In fact, I have two brands here, right? I have Consulting Champions, and we have Consulting Leash as my company. You'll notice that I do wear a lot of t-shirts with my logo on that brand. We spent many, many thousands of dollars to build this brand in the marketplace. Originally, I had terrible branding for this business. I had a minimum viable product. I really didn't have a very solid brand. I went into color palette schemes. I don't want to go into the actual mechanisms of brand, but to just share with you that it's important that you start paying attention to these things, because you start becoming visible in the market. And as you become visible, especially if you want to become visible in a niche, right, you're going to become way more visible if you start building an element of branding in what you do. Somebody has just asked a particular question. Interesting. Jeb Blount talks about Apple versus Hyatt. In fact, the other person that talks about Apple versus Hyatt is Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek talks about Apple versus Hyatt. Yeah. So understand that, yes, building a brand, building a business, really, really key. Using elements of design to build a brand, very, very important, right? This is one of our consulting champions, Martin Obiozor. His brand is Empowered Pulse, is his brand. He has a podcast called Empowered Pulse. His agency is called Empowered Pulse. When he does webinars, generally he doesn't wear that t-shirt, but he wears an Empowered Pulse t-shirt for his thing. When clients see him, they see Empowered Pulse. So he is branding socially, YouTube, on LinkedIn, on everything. So people start to recognize his brand, right? Now this, by the way, this is a green screen background for a webinar. So this was just basically a JPEG with his logo put on the JPEG, right? I actually have a real, you can see this moves. This is a real screen behind me. But if I wanted to change things up, I would just put a green screen and you could see something different, right? So understand that when you start to build a brand, you also start to create a sense of ownership, right? Not just ownership from a perspective of a customer, but ownership from yourself. This is something that you have that you are part of that is a representation of you. Most people do not have their brand, and they're not thinking brand, and they're not thinking long-term in their business, right? If I'm thinking of establishing a brand, I'm thinking long-term. I'm talking 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, right? In this business, I'm not thinking short-term. Most small business owners, short-term thinking, not long-term thinking, right? Short-term thinking, short lifespan of business. Right? Long-term thinking, you're opening up to the possibility of building something as an asset, something for the future. So I just want to give you an example, or just want to share that people are applying the strategies and tactics that we're speaking about over the last 47 episodes. This is, I think, episode 48. We're hitting close to 50 days in a row. But I got this text message at 4:33 a.m. this morning. Thanks for having me, John. Just want to let you know that with your strategies, I closed $24,000 in deals this week just in the mortgage broker market. The mortgage broker market to me is a market that's actually a bit of stress at the moment. Although I believe it's a recession-proof business and it's going to emerge and it's going to get strong, but here's Scott, who's out there closing deals using all the things that we talk about here on our calls, on our daily webinars, and managed to get $24,000 last week by applying himself or implementing those strategies. So I want to share this video for you because I want you to listen to Richard Fong, who's one of our consulting champions. This is a progression of revenue that he generated over a period of 6 months. But I don't want you to listen to the results. I want you to listen to what he says about how he got the results, right? So I'm just going to play this video for you, and hopefully this is going to work. So I've got this loud.
Hey, John, this is Richard. I want to make a quick video for you to show you my income results since I've been going through your workshop and having some sales training with you. In March, it's 32,000, and it's been increasing ever since. Every month, hustle, doctor's appointment, making the sales calls, pitching the offer, you know, knowing my numbers and having my sales chart up. This month, I'm at my record 80,000 in invoice this month. So a lot of it has to do with your training. A lot of it has to do with your course and giving me the right mindset. So I want to give you this video as a testimony, and thank you very much for all what you do.
So what Richard kindly said, it wasn't about the fact of the results that he was getting. It was a fact of the work ethic that he had, the focus, the structure, getting the charts up, doing the daily accountabilities, going through the process. Some of you here have been sitting here every single day, and I really appreciate you hopping on here or watching these videos every day and applying some of these tactics and getting results. And I guess at the end of the day, having this focused intent is absolutely critical for you to achieving the outcomes that you're looking to make in the marketplace. One of the things that I want to share, you'll notice that this image is me. I'm in Times Square at this time. I spent a lot of time in New York, and New York is under a lot of stress at the moment, obviously through what's going on. But one of the things that, if anybody who knows me, I traveled extensively. For 5 years, I literally traveled the world to different places. And oftentimes I would take images of myself and take videos and do all sorts of things in my travels to create a story, to create a brand. And you'll notice I wear my t-shirts a lot with the Consulting Champions. So I do this in multiple occasions. If any of you have gone to Consulting Unleashed and downloaded the mini course, I did a walk across to the Manhattan side of the Brooklyn Bridge to the Brooklyn side of the Brooklyn Bridge, literally walking through the city as my background, right? Trying to create different types of fields for people to give people the impression that you can run your business from anywhere in the world. That's part of my brand. Part of my what I'm teaching people is you can work anywhere, or you can be anywhere, or you can have clients all over the world running this business. So what I'm trying to do is live my brand, walk my talk, right, in what I'm doing. So understand there's little things that you can do. Don't just do the stagnant, like I know do a lot of these sorts of videos, but I will just go outside and do a location. The iPhone, like this is how I make most of my videos. That's if people see me, I've had production people who follow me around, and they've taken photos of me just standing randomly in a background, just going like this, right? And making a video and then posting that or getting that video out or emailing that out to an audience, right? So the idea is that you want to create a connection or an essence of your story to give to enable people like, I like this person, I like this message, or it is a quirky way of consistency. If you talk to anybody I know, my close friends, my guru friends, those sorts of people, they'll say, dude, you travel everywhere. You are everywhere, right? I see you in my feed. I see you on my freaking YouTubes. I see you in ads on Facebook. I see you everywhere. You're everywhere, right? And so when I'm into the cadence, right, that's the whole idea, is to create that omnipresence, to create that visible connection, right? So I get people randomly walking up to me in the middle of Whole Foods in Austin, Texas saying, are you John Logar, right? Oh, I just watched your video the other day. I can't believe you're sitting here in a freaking supermarket. Now, I'm not telling you to impress you that I've created some sort of celebrity status in the market. That's not what this is about. It's just to help you understand that those little incremental touch points that you put out there, especially when you put your name to them and your imagery to them, have an impact on people engaging with you as part of your brand. You should be part of your brand. Right? It is an identity of what you deliver to the marketplace. So think bigger and longer term. What is your vision for your business? What does it look like? What does that look like for you, right? What is the business going to look like in 3-10 years time? What is the best offer that you can make into the marketplace? Really, really important. What's the best consistent result that you can get? What is the best consistent result that you can get that you can talk about as part of your brand? Right? How do you want your market to see you? How do you want your market, right? If you are in the roofing or the contractor market, then you don't want to dress up like a person in a suit, right, to talk to that contractor market. You want to dress up in a shirt as if you're working up to a job or a trade shirt with your brand on it, right? So how you look and what representation you make to the market is going to be, right, how people engage with you. If you want to engage the corporate market, do not do your videos with a library stack behind you, right? Have what is deemed to be a traditional kind of office structure, right? So that it looks like you are in an office. If you're dealing with corporates, then you want to create that professional look, right? You want to have the tie, you want to have the jacket on, you want to be professional as they are professional in the market. The brand that you have needs to look, engage your market. Your market has to like the brand, right? If that's what it means. So why is it important for you to build a business that supports your aspirations, right? If you can answer these questions, what's going to come out of this process is you're going to come up with things that are an emotional connection experience. Now, branding in and of itself is a massive topic, but you should be, everything you send out, a proposal you send out, or a pitch that you do, the conversations you have, if you've got business cards, everything represents consistency in your brand. The images you put out are part of a story, and people connect with that story, right? If I look at Bulletproof Coffee and their branding, where they have a unique product, unique health qualities, and so they start to build this connection with their audience. They have a massive community that drinks Bulletproof Coffee all over the world. The CrossFit organization, right? The CrossFit movement, right? The company that started that, or the business that started CrossFit as a brand. Every company or every gym in the world that does CrossFit pays a license fee to that company based on that brand, right? They have a massive audience. They have a thing called the CrossFit Games. 480,000 people applied to go to the CrossFit Games last year, and 30,000 people turned up. I think it was in Canada or somewhere. 30,000 people turned up to the CrossFit Games last year because of that community and because of that brand and what that brand stands for. What of the day, right? Workout of the day, the WOD. Right? And then these WODs have names, right? So there's massive recognition of that CrossFit industry. So understand they've got a big vision, they've got a big idea and a big community to reach. Even as a small business, you also will create the essence of that. We've got a few people chatting here, asking questions. Yeah, the coffee was designed for the keto diet. Absolutely, right? Absolutely. So, breakthrough vision. So I'm just going to give you an example, an agency that I work with very closely and have been part of for a number of years, right? This is their vision. We will make physical therapy first choice for pain treatment by 2030. So in the next 10 years, we want to make physical therapy first choice for pain treatment by 2030. Do you know why? Because right now, first choice is a chiropractor. It's not a physical therapist, right? Chiropractors, if you've got a bad back, right? If you said, hey, it's really weird. I was in a room, 300 physical therapists in front of me, and I asked this question, hey, you got a bad back, who are you going to call? And they didn't say call a physical therapist. They all put up their hands and said, I'm calling a chiropractor. Why are you calling a chiropractor? And why are you not calling a physical therapist, right? Because chiropractors have been marketing themselves more effectively, better than physical therapists. So part of our vision is to make physical therapists the first choice. We're the company that's going to make you first choice in your industry for pain treatment. Number two, we want to flip the health pyramid to help people get back to normal. Health without opioids and injections, minimize invasive surgery. That's what we want to do, because if we can do those things, if they can get people to come to you first, they're going to get back to normal. We want to make physical therapy the primary choice of healthcare in your community. Right? We want you, notice the vision is about you being the choice of care in the market, you helping, caring for people, right? This is not the vision of our business. This is the vision of our clients, right? In the marketplace. So understand, what do you stand for? What is the conversation? What is the communication? What are you sharing out there? Right? There are thousands of agencies. Many of them offer the same services, the same promise, similar results. They're generally positioned in the same market, right? So why does a client choose one agency over another agency, right? There's a whole list of reasons why they do that. There's the know, like, and trust, the feel, the professionalism, the competency and capability. All these reasons build part of your brand story, right? Nobody buys a product or service because it can do everything, rather because it can do something, right? People buy from people who deliver something that they ultimately desire and they want, right? Tim Williams wrote that in Positioning for Professionals, okay? So, very quickly, positioning strategy is really a business strategy. Most businesses don't have a strategic plan for their business, right? If I did a poll right now, a strategic plan, one where you've clearly defined your business, clearly defined your operating, what you're delivering, who your market is, who your customers are, what service property offer do you make, what your charge out rates are, what are the different packages you sell, who's responsible in your company for delivering said items, who is responsible for making sure you reach out to the market, what your marketing strategy is, how many people here have a strategic plan for their business? Just type 1 in the chat if you have a strategic plan for your business, right? The strategic plan is more than the next month. It's for the next 3 to 10 years. And I've broken down that plan into monthly increments of this is the contribution this month towards the strategic plan. Anybody got that? Just type 1. It's okay. If you don't have it, just type 2. If you don't have one, just type 2. If you don't have one, just type 2. It's okay. Right? I didn't have one for a long time, and I learned this a long time ago. I came from a background where strategic plans were really important. Mark 2, Eric 2, okay, just 2. Just let's be vulnerable here, yeah? Lou 2. So if we don't understand why we're in this business, what we're going to do with this business, what this business is going to look like for us, right? What our offerings are, who's going to benefit the most, how do we deliver those outstanding results? If we don't have how many leads we want to generate every single week, how many of those we're going to nurture into appointments, what is our sales process and strategy to convert a lead, how do we deliver great results for our clients, and how do we retain and execute on our customers? If we don't have a plan, at least to incorporate elements of those key factors, then how do we expect for us to be in business? How do we expect to succeed, right? It's going to be impossible, right? Now, I'm not suggesting that you sit down and you write out this massive plan for your business. It's not about that, right? A one-pager would be enough, right? A one-pager saying, hey, this is my statement of intention, right? This is what we're standing for. This is the result and what we're delivering to the market that we communicate to that market, right? Chris, yes, is it similar to a business plan? It is, but a strategic plan is one that you actually implement, right? A business plan is one that people submit to a bank for a loan, right? But an implementation, a strategic plan, is one that you actually execute one, you measure against it, and you are constantly adjusting and improving that, right? Thanks, Eric, for saying that you're thinking about this and you're covering this. Because if you don't have these things, right, you're doing the very thing that a lot of other businesses do, is your business in the lap of the gods, right? There's no trajectory for your business if you aren't thinking that this is who we are, this is what we're all about, and this is the brand that we're building. I've got a few champions that have built great brands in the marketplace, and they're doing really well. They seem to be attracting clients in the middle of all this craziness, and everybody else is shut down. But because they position their brand, because they're out there in the market, because they're engaging, they're the ones getting the phone calls, right, in the market. So Really, really important to position strategy. What services do you offer and what market segments do you serve? You need to be very clear because your market segments need to identify that you're the person in the market. In Breakthrough, we're the most expensive marketing agency in the physical therapy space. Now, there's a whole bunch of people who are jumping into our market who are way cheaper than us, who generate leads on Facebook just like we do, right? But they're way cheaper, but they can't seem to hang on to their clients. They're lucky if they can hang on to a client for a month to 3 months. Every 3 months, the client leaves. Why does the client leave? Because they're offering a short-term solution. They're not thinking about the strategic growth of the business that they're working with. The reason why our clients stay for a year minimum, up to 4 years, we've had now clients coming into their 5th year with us. 5 years for a client paying us $5,000 a month for 5 years, right? That's what's that? That's $300,000 worth of revenue from one customer. 300,000 cash in the last 5 years from one client, right? This client has actually upsold and bought other things from us as well, right? Training, all sorts of products and services, right? We've had a number of clients like that. The reason why is we don't sell month-to-month advertising. What we sell is a business development program. Now, if we're going to develop a business, we're not going to develop a business for a month. We're not going to develop a business for 3 months. We're going to develop a business for years. Our intention is to drive the vision for our clients to say, hey, we're going to be here for years. We're going to give you a predictable source of revenue. We're going to give you back-end systems, follow-ups, automation, communication, appointment setting, improvements on capabilities, all those sorts of things, because we're going to develop your business. It's really important that we're part of this process. So what are you offering and what segments do you serve and how do you serve them? Right? Most people are serving people short-term. They're not serving people long-term in the marketplace, right? We don't sell month-to-month programs. We sell 12-month business development programs, yeah? We don't do anything a month-to-month, anything. We never have from day one, right? We don't sell the system, we rent the system. If you leave, you lose everything. You lose the leads, you lose the emails, you lose everything, you lose the ads. You don't get to keep anything, because that intellectual property belongs to us. And this is our system that we've built to help you get the result at 30 to 50% growth rate month on month, or sorry, per annum in your business, which accounts for hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of patient revenue, right? So that's a different story to say, hey, let's run some leads for you, okay? So next, right? Types of positioning. You might specialize. One of my favorite things is specialize, go niche within a niche. Sergio Tavares, one of our consulting champions, specializes just in all-on-4 implants, all-on-4. Now, dental implants and all-on-4 implants, 2 different things. Dental implants are each individual tooth is implanted into the base of the mouth. And all-on-4 procedures, like they're dentures, but there are 4 anchor points at top and bottom, perfect teeth. Right, perfect smile, and they're not like, you know, you don't take them out; they're part of the mouth. Well, he only specializes in selling that type of lead. So even though if a dental practice does do all-on-4, he doesn't work with them. He only works with practices that provide this procedure. Now, the average procedure is between $30,000 and $50,000 for top and bottoms, right, to get this done. That's a lot of money. So he qualifies a lead. He has a system that actually educates the market, tells them exactly how much they're going to pay, tells them what they need to go through in the consultation process to invest in all-on-4, and he's built this little system. And he sells this system at $10,000 a month to dental practices, special on all-on-4. And average dental practice, right, will get between 5 and 8 new all-on-4 patients per month. All right, so that is a couple of $100,000 in dental fees every single month, right? That's what's that? $2.4 million a year. That's not too bad for investing $120,000 in services. So specialization, if you can niche within the niche and be the person that just does that. I'm just trying to think of a company that I spoke to a while ago. They only do SEO for personal injury lawyers. They don't do SEO for family law. They don't do SEO for mediation, for corporate law, they don't do any other type of law. They only do SEO for personal injury. And they are running at a $7 million a year run rate. Right? They only specialize in that area. They are recognized as a leading specialist in SEO for personal injury, and that's it. They've built a multi-million-dollar agency out of that, right? They've built an incredible brand. They're very recognized by the industry. They're in publications of the industry. They are recognized as these experts in the industry of SEO in personal injury law, right? They are ranked for that in the marketplace. They live and breathe, they talk, they walk their talk. Right? Specialization is huge. A global market. We can work anywhere in the world. We're a global brand, a global market. Right? We have clients all over the world. So that can be part of your positioning. Target audience, zeroing into one audience and being the specialist for that one audience. Premium pricing, being the premium, the number one in the marketplace. There used to be a strategy. Number one rental car company in the world was Hertz, right? But Avis said, we're number two and we drive your dollar further, right? We're number two and we drive your dollar further, right? We want to work harder. We work harder than the number one guy in the marketplace. So they're positioning themselves as the alternative. We're number two, but we work harder for you than the guys at the top, right? So they've used premium pricing or pricing strategy as part of their branding, right? Look at the luxury brands, right? You can't buy a Ferrari on discount. You can't get a discount. Go to Ferrari and ask for a discount, see what they say. You know, the guy in the showroom is going to say, you know what? Not everybody can afford to buy a Ferrari. A Ferrari is not for everyone. A Ferrari is for somebody who understands and appreciates the quality, the craftsmanship, the artistry, the experience of driving a high performance car, right? They build the story around the brand. That's why they sell lots of Ferraris at full price, full ticket price. Go into a Ferrari dealership and ask for a discount, see what they say, right? If you ask for a discount, you're not a Ferrari driver, and you never will be one, unless you buy a second-hand one. You're never going to buy a brand new Ferrari, right? So premium pricing at the market. Now, Louis Vuitton, LV, a big brand in the world, a multi-billion-dollar brand. They don't do discounts ever. They don't do any discounting. They've never held a sale in their stores ever. In any store in the world, never. They don't do sales. They don't do Christmas sales. They don't do, Easter sales. They don't do, Black Friday sales. They don't do sales. Why is that? They hold strong to the brand. They hold strong to the experience, the quality, the craftsmanship, right? The fact that they are delivering a desired outcome. And their bags, by the way, I have nothing against Louis Vuitton. I personally don't like the whole logo thing all over your bag, but people don't understand that there's a statement that is being made with all those logos on that handbag, right? I get why that's important to some people, right? Status, their biggest growing market right now is China. Louis Vuitton's biggest growing market is China right now. And Southeast Asian countries, very status conscious. But premium pricing, very, very important. Differentiation, right? How are you unique to the marketplace is part of your branding and your positioning. The influence that you have, us here have the capability as part of our branding to create influence within a market. We can be recognized as a specialist for what we do in that market. So we can create influence. We can get into media. We can get, by providing training or authority, building the audience through a particular vertical, we can actually create that influencer type brand in the marketplace, right? So think of the ways how this can apply. Specializations. So for example, Breakthrough, direct access patients marketing systems for physical therapists. That's our specialization. We give you direct access to patients. You don't have to rely on referrals. You don't have to do any other form of marketing. We give you a patient in your door, sitting on your table, saying, can you treat me? And you help them with a plan of care, right? Revenue Rocket, tax office marketing. This is one of our champions. Revenue Rocket, tax office marketing program. They do marketing just for tax officers, right? No one else. If you mention the word Revenue Rocket to tax officers in the United States right now, they'll know exactly who you're talking about. They'll know exactly that you're talking about Baldeep Chawla and his team, right? Is Revenue Rocket, right? Student Convert, another one of our champions. Sales automation for vocational training organizations that sell training programs, right? Who do they work with? They do sales automation for vocational training organizations that sell training programs, right? That sell training programs, yeah? What is their specialization? Tender Search, this is a company that I owned, right? For a number of years. We write winning tenders for Fortune 500 companies. Our goal was to write a winning tender, a winning RFP for a major project, right? For one client, for a recruitment client, in 1 year, we generated $450 million worth of deals that we won in tenders in 1 year through our systems and through our strategies. We were recognized as a premium provider in the marketplace. A tender is the RFP, request for proposal for a major project. So if the government decides that they're going to build, want to build websites and marketing programs, they're going to tender that out to the public enterprise sector, and they basically, you're going into a bidding situation. So that's what a tender is, right? Tendering for services or doing an RFP or a bid for a project. Big deals, right? So specialization, very key. Borderless markets. Now, we have a champion that is the Atlanta SEO guru. Jeff Tomei runs Atlanta SEO Guru. He ranks for Atlanta SEO Guru. Now, he has clients all over the country, but he is the guru for SEO in Atlanta, right? He's recognized as that, right? State of Nevada Events Marketing. This is an actual company. They do events not just in Las Vegas or Reno, they do events in the entire state, right? The National Conversion Catalytics group, National Conversion Catalytics. So they're a national body. They're telling people in their brand what they do, who they are. This is an actual company. It's called the International Brand House, right? They have some of the major brands in the world that come to them for branding, messaging, restructuring, branding new products delivered to the market, right? So they're telling people that we're the international brand house. Even creating that essence of how you position yourself in the market is key to developing a brand. Right? Target audience niche, specialization, I just talked about that. Premium pricing, we've just talked about the premium pricing. Remember, you can be the most expensive. My favorite thing, Alan Weiss, who wrote a book called Million Dollar Consulting, highly recommend you buy that book. It's been around for about 30 years. That's the only book you need to buy from Alan, because every other book that he's written is pretty much based on that first book. But it's a brilliant book. And one of the things that he would say to people is that Alan loves like Bentleys and Rolls Royces and Ferraris, and he's a independent consultant. He doesn't work with the big major consulting firms, and as an independent consultant, he makes millions of dollars a year as an independent consultant in the marketplace. Only works for Fortune 500 companies, but drives around in a very, very expensive car. And he would rock up and park his car in the front of his clients' buildings, right, so they can see the car, right. And the reason why he does is not because he's arrogant or he's douchey, right? The reason why he does it is, would you rather hire a consultant who's going to turn up in a Prius, or would you rather hire the consultant that's running around in a Rolls Royce, right? What type of consultant are you getting who understands the investment in a premium branding positioning for himself, right? Which sounds like a douchey thing, but it's not, right? Because people can relate. He used to say to people, I'm going to be the most expensive consultant you ever hire. I'm the most expensive consultant because the reason you're hiring me is because I'm the best in the market for what we do. I'm recognized as the best. Now, his clients know him, right, personally in a great in a great number of ways in terms of what he delivers to the marketplace. He's recognized as a consultant, a premium international consultant through change management and the process that he provides in marketing for his clients, right? Premium pricing can position you at the top of the game in your brand. If you are the most expensive, tell people you're the most expensive, but then back it up with outstanding results. That's why they hire you. I want the best. There are people that just want to deal with the best, right? They don't want to deal with the average, right? Differentiation. How do you differentiate yourself, right? How do you do things differently to people? Sometimes your IP, the intellectual property you create, is maybe different from others, right? Maybe you're unique in the innovation, the creativity, right? There's a lady called Nancy Duarte who runs a firm that specializes in presentations. Now, here's an agency that literally builds slide decks, presentation decks. And Nancy is the one who does a lot of TED slides for the TED Talks. That's where she became famous. She became famous as the presentation lady for TED Talks, right? What she's selling is graphic design, how to create design and communicate messages in presentations, how to build brand story in presentations. You can actually pay to do a $3,000 training course in Nancy's headquarters in Los Angeles. I would imagine now it's done virtually at the moment, but in LA, you can actually go. There are people that literally fill out her programs to learn how to design PowerPoint presentations, right? Or keynote presentations, which is amazing, right? They spend $3.5 grand to spend a week in their offices learning how to create stories and design. Her thing is we build incredible and amazing presentations, right? We tell your story in images and words. a big part of what she does. She's got 2 best-selling books. She's an authority in this market, right? So, and essentially, she's a graphic design agency. She's a graphic design agency that is specialized in creating powerful communication. And many of her presentations have won awards for their clients. And many of the presentations that she has developed have generated hundreds of millions of dollars, in fact, billions of dollars in sales revenue, right? Differentiation in the marketplace. Influence. Right, in terms of influence, if you look at the people who are influencers within a market with their brand, especially in the marketing world, right? I can name a few. We've got Perry Belcher, we've got Ryan Dice in the internet marketing space. We've got we have Frank Kern, who's very well known, who's an influencer who's built lots of programs in education. In fact, I'm in the middle of one right now, right, of doing that. Who are the people who've got the influencers? Amy Porterfield in social media, right? Think of Russell Brunson and ClickFunnels, right? Think of how they've created influence and impact in the market, right? They've produced trainings, books, they speak at major events, they have become an authority, right, within their markets. They've built a brand around them or the product that they develop in the marketplace. So how can you become an influencer? Right, so with that, I want to thank you. I'm going to ask questions now. I'm going to stop this share for just a moment. We've got a whole bunch of people talking here. Takeaway, first of all, if you can type in the chat, biggest takeaway you've taken from today's talk so far. Big takeaway. Just type in the chat. I'm going to reach out to Damien Papworth in just a second. He's just here somewhere lurking. I've got you, Damien. Anything? What's the biggest takeaway you've had? Specializing key, yeah. Specialization and branding, absolutely. Be unique. Yes, look at ways you can be unique. You can sell exactly the same thing as somebody else, but if you position the story differently, then you can actually stand out in the marketplace. Yeah. What else have you picked up from today? Think about what you do, everything you do, every presentation you do. Use the brand in your presentations, but also use your client's brand. Connect with your client's brand in your presentations. They need to be dominant. Your brand, you'll notice on my slides, I have my little C on every single slide. You'll notice this, whenever you see me, I have my brand somewhere visible to you as much as I can, right? Any other takeaways from today? No? Having a strategic plan. It's not a 1 month, it's not a 3, it's a 3 to 5 year thing, yes. Yeah, think bigger, think longer term. Think about what you want to do. Do you want to sell? Do you want to build this business to sell this business? That's another thing, right? In fact, I had a conversation last week with somebody, and that somebody's here. Good to see you here. I won't name names, but I know somebody who wants to sell their business. So you've got to build to sell. What are you going to do to build that brand to sell? Emphasis on the long term. Yeah, we're here for a long time, right? Not a good time. We're here for a long time, right? Yeah. So with that, I'm going to unmute my friend, Damien Papworth here, who's been patiently listening. And I want to get a bit of an update on what's happening or what has happened in the market over the last week. And some of the things that he may have noticed. So Damien from Global Marketing, I'm going to unmute you, mate. How you doing?
Good, John. How are you?
Good. What's your biggest takeaway for today?
I mean, I think, brand is really important. Very, very different thought process, though, than, the tactical stuff you've been talking about so far. Mm-hmm. But, if you've got a long-term goal with your business and it's not just paying yourself a wage, it's super important to have a brand. You can't sell anything without a brand, basically. So we obviously, John, we've sort of talked about this before. We've put a lot of effort into our Globotel brand. We had a lot of different websites that we used to use for lead generation, SEO Resellers Australia and Digital Resellers Canada, and we had about 8 or 9 of them. Across the different countries we operate, but we consolidated all that into the Globotel brand and spent quite a bit of money doing it.
Yep.
And that's sort of held everything together quite nicely now. We're sort of recognised much better than we used to be. But that's all because, we've got a long-term plan with the business and, you really do need it if you're doing more than just being a sort of a consultant and looking to pay your wage each month. So, yeah, really good topic.
Yeah, a lot of people don't do this, David, because they don't really think about it, right? But as a freelancer, we're not really thinking about building our brand, right? But if you want to build sustainability, customers buy brands. Clients attach themselves, or people attach themselves to brands because there's security, there's comfort, there's an essence of value in somebody identifying themselves within a marketplace. If you don't treat this with some sort of importance in your business, then ultimately I think that you're going to operate. You're actually not going to last very long, right? You're going to operate as a small business owner, and like you said, you're going to be a freelancer just working for a wage. Right? You're not actually going to build anything of value to the marketplace in a lot of ways. So most people in the agency game come and go very, very quickly because they just don't think long term in this market. So that's a really important consideration. So any noticings from you in the last week in the world of how agencies are working right now? What are you noticing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think last week we had about a 30% increase in the number of new campaigns starting across the network. So that's quite large, and that's week on week. I hope everyone's sort of trying to keep an eye on this. That's week on week rather than waiting till the end of the month. We certainly do. It's quite important to understand what's going on. But yeah, so that's a lot of new business. We are finding still quite high levels of cancelled projects. And I've sort of been touching on this a bit, John, over the last sort of week or so. I think, earlier on in the piece with COVID, the cancellations were businesses panicking. Now it seems to be more, and that sort of evolves into sort of business as usual. I think we're finding a bit of agency-driven challenges coming through now. So we're finding cancellations because agencies are having challenge and making decisions about their businesses. And so we sort of had 3 weeks in a row where we've had higher than what we expected cancellations, and pretty much every single case, it's come down to one agency or two agencies making decisions about their businesses. So that's sort of the
interesting.
Yeah. So some ideas on the businesses
it's not driven by the market. It's being driven by the people who are delivering the service to the market.
That's right. So, and that's like it's a bit of a concern in our business on how. How can I support an agency who's leaving the industry, for example? It's sort of a challenging one for us to get over the top of. But really positive to see all the new business starting. If you want an indication of the last sort of couple of weeks, who's buying? We've got cleaners, online shopping, care products. So, the moisturisers, that kind of thing. Planners, tradies. We've got media design, catering has come up a few times, solar, kitchens. Just one of the things that's come up recently too are holiday parks. They're doing a lot of longer term marketing like SEO rather than the pay-per-click necessarily. They're sort of seeing that an opportunity now. The guys that are quite established and have a bit of cash are still even though there's no tourism, they're still investing in their businesses.
Yep. Well, that's a really big market, by the way. Tourist parks are huge. They actually do have lots of money. When they're busy, they do have a lot of cash flow, and they have a mix of customers in their market. So those types of business have lots of cash, and they know that they're competing against a very broad market. So they are very good at advertising, promoting their services. They do invest a lot in their marketing. So as a niche, they are a really good niche. In fact, I know one of our consulting champions actually specializes in that niche. That's a big niche. Tourist parks are a massive niche. And so, they're starting to, that's the other thing. I'm glad you bring this up, Damien, because what we're noticing right now, and I'm just noticing in paying attention to ads, most companies that are advertising on the radio and the TV right now are saying these words: we are open for business. We're open to help you right now. We're open, we're open, we're open. They're constantly telling people we're open, right? I said 3 months ago, what do we need to be doing to tell people right now? We need to let people know that we are open. So every business right now, from banks to restaurants to bars to because they're starting to come back in, they're telling people we're open, we're open, we're open, right? If you're not running ads right now, letting people know you're open, this gap that we're bridging right now, the people are dropping out of the market as people are slowly coming back. And I had this conversation with champions earlier this morning, that I believe the boom is really going to be sort of gradually building between June and say October. Between June and October, kids are all going to be back in school, families back to work, people looking for jobs, people looking to, so there's going to be movement. There's cash, all this cash that the stimulus package has been promoted with around the world is starting to hit bank accounts. So all of that activity is slowly bringing in the, people in the market. But the interesting thing that's coming out of this, Damien, is the behavior of customers. Like the behavior is going to change. I was at a mall for our American cousins. I was American instead of Australian. I was at a mall, a shop, like we call them, a shopping center, right? But I was at a mall, and about half the businesses in the mall were closed. We've actually said retail should open back up. Lockdown the restrictions have been relaxed, and so a lot of people now going back into their behaviours. Right, they've just been locked down for a month. They want to get out and about. So what do? They go to a mall. Right, the mall that I went to, half the stores were closed, half were open. But here's the interesting thing: is it felt like it was like Christmas. The amount of traffic, talk about non-social distancing, the amount of traffic at the mall this weekend felt like it was Christmas time. There was that many people in the mall. Now, admittedly, there was an event occurring, which is Mother's Day, so naturally there's going to be a lot of people out and about. But here's the thing. The businesses that were open had lines of people lining up to get in those stores to buy products or services. They literally had people lining up and waiting to come into their stores, obviously because they can allow only a certain number of people coming into their doors. Even major chain stores like Walmart, Big W, Kmart, Target, the stores had lines of people waiting outside to get into those stores. So already this idea of the gap being bridged, where there's stores that have been closed, if they had been open, they would have been exposed to all this traffic, right? But one of the things that came to my head is why they weren't open is they let go of their staff. They've let go of their team now for 6 to 7 weeks, and they've got nobody to come and open that store. They've got nobody to manage the store. So if you've got nobody to manage, nobody to work, you can't open the store, right? So you're going to miss out on opportunity. So this gap bridging is actually happening right now as we speak. And I think over the next, between June, when the restrictions are going to be really relaxed in most countries around the world, between June and also October, I think is going to be the greatest impact of how businesses are going to survive and how they're going to come out of this and how customers are going to behave. And this is why advertising promotion is so key. If you're not advertising right now, you are not visible, you are going to go out of business. You will actually go out of business. Because right now, people are looking on this device and they're checking if you're open. And if you aren't open on this device, you're out. Right, you're out of business. There's a particular business I've been wanting to go through for the last 6 weeks, right? I was hoping that they'd be coming back, but they're closed. So now I'm buying the product alternatively, because I need to see the product, touch the product, to another supplier that is actually open, right? So I'm spending my money away from a company that I normally spend money with because they've chosen to stay closed. And even online, they've got a terrible online shopping presence. So I fear that this company is going to go out of business because of what's going on in the market. So for those of you listening, this is an opportunity. This is a very big opportunity in the market. So what you're saying, Damien, about even agencies shutting down, which means that leaves the door open for a whole bunch of other agencies. This is one of the reasons I love this market, is because the opportunity for us in this world right now is at a premium. There's never been a better time for us in agencies right now. This is it. This is like the moment where we actually get to have a big impact and have the greatest opportunity. And there are people out there who are grabbing it and running with it right now. It's massive. Yeah.
So John, also just one point what you're saying there about, you've got to get the word out. You've got to be doing advertising and that kind of stuff. Look, I know one of the biggest challenges digital agencies have is cash flow to put into advertising. We quite often will do SEO because we can't afford a Facebook ads or a Google ads campaign, that kind of stuff. This is like just going back to one of the things that I've been saying the last few weeks too is, that's an existing problem in your business. If that's the position you're in, that's it's a problem. It's a weakness in your business. It means you've got cash flow challenges which could be because you haven't priced right or you don't have a good debtor management system or that kind of stuff. So, you know, if that's where you're sitting and you want to do advertising, but you can't cash flow it, have a look at what the real problem is and see if you can fix it over the next 6 to 8 weeks. So your business comes out of this a lot stronger than what you actually came into the coronavirus situation with.
Absolutely. One of the things that I've been saying to people is, as you bring a client on board, take 10% of the revenue from the client and just put it aside for your marketing budget. So every new client you bring in, 10% put aside for marketing budget. You can start an ad campaign for as little as $20 a day. I was talking to one of our champions who was just testing an AdWords campaign. They get 3 high-quality leads a month for spending $15 a day on AdWords. They're only targeting a very specific buying keyword. They don't get lots of inquiries and phone calls, but they pick up 3 sales from running an AdWords campaign. 3 a month, and they're spending, what are they spending? 15. So what's that? $75 or well, nearly $90. So $400 a month. $400 a month to pick up an average client that's going to invest $36,000 in your services, and they get 3. So $400 to make $90,000. That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
But just testing, like right now, YouTube ads are super cheap. Run a YouTube ad, right? You can, because what are we doing? The other biggest search engine right now is YouTube, right? The how do this, how do I do this, how do I do Facebook ads, how do I do AdWords, how do I do SEO, those keyword search terms on YouTube are huge. You can advertise for direct search on YouTube and pick up clients that way really inexpensively. And there's lots of, funnily, on YouTube, you can YouTube videos convert sales, and they can show you how to run an ad online, right? But you don't need to allocate hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars to the campaign. That's something you do when you can scale. But you want to take at least 5 to, I say 10%. I believe 10% of your budget should go to marketing and advertising to the market. But you've got to build that muscle. You've got to build that thing. So if you can, run some cheap ads, run some tests. If you're an AdWords person, you should be running AdWords. You should be at least run some cheap AdWords, right? So people can see you that you're running ads. That's the way you're going to attract customers. So Damien, anything else you want to share or add?
No, I think that's about it, mate. I think it covered what we needed to this week. I mean, the week seemed to be very short, and sometimes nothing really happens, and other times something big happens. So it's just good to see that increase in activity last week, I think. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you, Damien. I really appreciate you hopping on. So I just want to share this. Well, helps if I do that. Bring up that. Whoops. So I just want to, for those of you who haven't, I'm actually doing this on the 23rd of May. We're doing a Sales Blitz Intensive. What a Sales Blitz Intensive is I'm actually going to be providing you with a very simple step-by-step structure. I'm going to show you how to pick up some leads, high qualified leads. I'm going to walk into identifying hot buying niches, how to get into those niches. Then I'm going to craft a whole bunch of offers in real time that I'm going to deliver. And then we're going to go through a sales process to close the deals. And then we're going to build a plan to actually execute on generating sales rapidly. So what I'm going to do is, the ticket is $97. If you go to consultingunleashedlive.com, it is a 4-hour live event. The reason why I'm sharing this with you is because the ticket actually is for a good cause. The ticket actually provides or buys 10 families access to solar lighting in their home. So 10 families will have lighting when you purchase the ticket. 5 women are going to get vocational job training to get independence, to support their communities in the market. So 5 people are going to get vocational training, and we're going to pay for the education of 1 child for an entire year. So if you go to consultingunleashedlive.com/ticket for good, you can actually buy this ticket. There's also a course that's already available as part of a bonus for buying the ticket. You get access to a private members area. And as part of this 4-hour event, you're going to get all the recordings, all the slides into that private area as well. So I wanted to highlight that here. If you haven't already gone and had a look, if you go to consultingunleashedlive.com/ticket for good, $97, 4-hour web event with me on the 23rd of May, happening in 2 weeks' time. And we are focusing on trying to help as many people as possible to accelerate the sales process in their agency. And for attending and buying this ticket is going to make a major contribution. So right now we are supporting Right now we've got 100 families. So far we've got 100 families that we're providing solar lighting to. 50 women are getting vocational training, and we're paying for the education of 10 underprivileged children right now for an entire year. So we are holding this on the 23rd of May. If you haven't already seen, go to consultingunleashedlive.com/ticket for good. If you go to the Consulting Unleashed Facebook page, you will see the invitation for this particular live event. And we've even got some of our resource partners that are going to be providing some really cool stuff as part of this process. So with that, I want to thank you. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer your questions. Just type in the chat if you have any questions. I want to be able to help you. Once I'm done with the pilot project for tutors, we're going to target the bigger players. We are refining the process right now. Awesome. Take Pacific Fair in Queensland on Saturday, the same. Yeah, absolutely. Emphasis on long term. Any questions? If I can help you with anything, if you need me to help you with anything, you've got a question for me directly, ask the question. If you want me to unmute, we can have a chat. I can answer your question. What can I do to help you to move the needle forward? Do you need help with lead generation? Do you need help with attraction, conversion, leveraging, delivery? If you have a question, I'll open the question up to you right now. If you haven't already, go to consultingunleashedlive.com/ticket for good. Grab a ticket. Let me tell you, the 4 hours I know will be game changing for you, because we've helped people generate hundreds of millions of dollars in the Blitz event that I'm actually going to be sharing. I've done this event live around the world. This event, because we can't meet in person, we're going to do it online as a web event. Let me tell you, the stuff that I will share is stuff that I actually haven't shared in a lot of these trainings. There is some new stuff in there that will help you. Brian says, do you think most agencies deliver excellent results or just okay results? Brian, to answer that question, I think most agencies deliver an okay result. And many agencies don't deliver a result at all. And the reason why is because they don't think strategically. I can give you countless examples, and let's pick the chiropractor market as an example. There's a whole bunch of people who sell leads for chiropractors. The average chiropractor, I was actually at a conference in January, early January. I was in LA, so I was speaking at a conference. And at this conference, there was about 150 chiropractors in there. In this conference, and I was presenting on some industry intelligence that I was providing. It was one of my consulting champions that were holding events, so I was speaking on their behalf, or they invited me to come and talk to the industry. And here's what most of them said. Most of the chiropractors said, yeah, we only last about a month or 90 days and we just switch agencies. And I kept asking, why do you do that? He said, well, the results are pretty crap, so we just try somebody else and think the results are better elsewhere. So, Brian, I think most people actually deliver average results. And this is why I believe they deliver average results, Brian, is they're not thinking long-term. They're not thinking strategy, right? You cannot get outstanding results in 30 days on a Facebook ad campaign. You can get results, but you're not going to get outstanding results. Outstanding results means that a campaign takes about 6 to 8 weeks to kind of season, to build the data, to build the momentum, so that you actually improve and scale that campaign and get a more efficient campaign. At Breakthrough, we've done, because we generate 11,000 patient leads per month and over $7 million worth of patient revenue per month, well, we've dialed it in. We've got 5 years of data that we can go to, and we've dialed in those campaigns. So we can get pretty decent results fairly quickly for our market, right? But most people, they're starting campaigns fresh. And they don't, and the other thing is they don't change the images on their campaigns. So the campaigns get tired. They don't change up the offers. They don't test. They don't do A/B split testing. So most people, I guarantee you, in the chiropractic space, are very average, if not poor. They're not great at all. And I could probably count on my hands, and I know a few of them who do a brilliant job in the space. But even they have challenges in holding on to customers, and it's because of the way they sell it. They sell it as a short-term thing, 90 days, 30 days, let's get in, let's try, right? Well, trying is not doing, right? So hopefully, Brian, that answers your question. James is asking me, would you say that customer service preserves a client for the long run despite price? Absolutely, James. I'll say this to you, James. Customer experience will preserve the client for a longer period of time. Customer experience, the first 100 days of the interaction you have with your clients is going to determine on whether or not they're going to stay with you for a year or 2 or 3 years. The more emotional connection you create with your customers, right, the stronger, the longer they will stay. The more expectation you create for them to stay, they will stay. The biggest problem in our industry is churn. That is the number one problem in our industry, is churn. Clients churn too quickly because we allow them to churn. We're not supporting them. We're not educating them. We're not communicating with them. I think I've told this story before. I had a consultation with an agency that I was talking to late last year. So in October, they had $100,000 in revenue coming into the business from all their clients. And then they went from $100,000 revenue to November, right, to $10,000. So from 100 grand a month to 10 grand a month in 1 month. That meant that 90% of their clients left in 1 month. So I asked him the question, why the hell did they leave, right? Why are they leaving? Like, how do you go from 100 grand to 10 grand in 1 month? What the hell's gone wrong here, right? And so here's what he said. Well, we normally do a 30-day trial with clients. We do a money-back guaranteed 30-day trial, or we try and sell them into a 90-day trial, 90-day trial. And so guess what, right? He had a really great month of sales, got the sales up to 100 grand, right? His monthly recurring. And then everybody just left because he told them that they could leave at the end of the month. Don't commit to me, open agreement. You can leave whenever you want to leave, right? It's okay. So why are we talking about you can leave whenever you want to leave at the beginning of a relationship? That doesn't make any sense. So of course, what did his clients do? They said, thanks for letting us know, we'll leave, right? Because in a month, they had mixed results. Some results were good, some results were awesome, but most results were average or not a result at all because there wasn't enough time to build the relationship with that client. So naturally, what do? They're going to leave. They're going to go and find another agent and say, well, maybe these guys will do better, right? So they'll go from agency to agency to agency. In fact, I've asked people to put up their hand in the last 2 years who was on their 5th agency, and 1/3 of the room put their hand up, right? 60 people in that room are on their 5th agency in 2 years, right? The reason why it's not working is they're not sticking it out, or the agency they're working in aren't focused on helping their clients to stick around, right? That's a big thing. Have you any advice on that? Do you consistently share your latest knowledge with them? Keep them informed? Absolutely. In fact, James, I'll probably do a training on client retention. It's not the reason I haven't been focusing on client retention is right now we need client acquisition like crazy, right? We need to be acquiring customers, getting leads, nurturing those leads into sales, converting them to sales. That's what we need to do right now. Every single person here, 80% of your effort and energy needs to be acquiring customers, right? Needs to be focused on acquiring customers, right? That's the thing. So I haven't talked about the retention piece. However, the retention piece from a business point of view is your greatest leverage, because the longer you keep clients on board and the more clients you keep topping up in, the bigger money you're going to make, right? That's the thing. In business, retention is key. Your churn rate is really important, because I've had many times, and maybe some people can relate to this, where I've seen an agency where they sit there and they go through this panic mode. They go, holy crap, I just lost 3 clients. I just lost 15K worth of revenue in a month, and I don't know how I'm going to replace it, right? Well, that's because you're not retaining. Retention's a problem. But number 2, you're not making sure that you're adding clients to the business, so that if a client does leave, that it doesn't impact on your business as heavily as it could. And the other side of the coin of this retention story, to speak back to why clients leave. The reason clients leave is because you don't care enough. There's a perceived indifference between you and the customer. It's not a relationship of advisory and support and partnership. It is an adversarial relationship. Give me this thing. Prove to me you can do this thing, right? We're giving you this thing and you're not closing it. So we create an adversarial relationship. And naturally, if you have an adversarial relationship, then people are going to leave. But the number one reason why people leave you is because of a lack of communication. The number one reason why people left in March, right, where a lot of people left in March, is they didn't get to their clients quickly enough to say, hey guys, we're on this. We know it's going to be tough. Let's look at some maintenance plans. Let's look at some things that we can do. I know Tanya Bellchambers here, she did those things to save her business, right? Let's look at the things that we can hold on to minimize the impact of this thing, because at the end of the day, we are not going to close our businesses down. So if you're interested in keeping your business open, let's work together to keep this open. Those people that actually did that exercise with their clients, they're the ones that are thriving and growing. If I look at my champions, the champions that got ahead of this, right, like I did, right, the champions that got ahead of this are the ones that are growing right now. They're the ones that are generating a bucket load of sales over and above anybody else in the time of where this is supposed to be a crisis, apparently. Well, they didn't get the message. They didn't get the message that there's a crisis on, right, because they're busy. busier than anybody else in the market. Why? Because they got to their clients very quickly. They sat there and said, hey, let's work together. Let's do this together, right? Let's be part of solving the problems, addressing what needs to be addressed, and making sure that you're in business, making sure that you're collecting money, making sure that you're actually helping people out there. Because what is the alternative, right? A sense of focus, some clarity, some reassurance is what people need. And that was one reason why a lot of agencies lost a lot of clients, is because they just didn't care enough about their customers. They only cared enough that the customer paid their monthly fee, and they didn't do anything about their advertising. They didn't change ads, swap ads. They weren't doing A/B split testing, right? Nothing. I've seen accounts where companies are paying $10,000, $20,000 a month in management fees, and there's one ad in the account. And the only reason the ad's working is because the company's throwing $100 grand a month to advertising. So the company is paying $20,000 for management fees for this agency to be incredibly lazy with one campaign in the ad account. 20 grand a month for one campaign in ad account. Can you believe that? And the client thinks that they're getting a result because the agency keeps telling them they get so many click-throughs, right? Right, but to me, I'm appalled. When I do audits on accounts, or when I've seen audits on accounts, I am appalled at how terrible people manage Facebook accounts. Terrible, right? Shocking, right? Don't deserve to be paid the money, because if their clients knew, they'd get sued, right? And to me, that is a huge plus. I love that people are screwing up ad accounts. I love it because I can go in and fix them properly, right? Our team can go in there and make sure it actually works. Right now. So yes. James says, had a client that kept for 15 years. We share a lot together. Absolutely. This is across the board. This happens right across the board, James. Absolutely. So with that, I hope you will join me on the 15th of May for this Sales Blitz Intensive. Go to consultingunleashedlive.com/ticket for good. You are going to be supporting an amazing cause for this event, but I'm going to give you the best of what I have to do what we call a blitzing strategy to create leverage for sales for your business. So if you want to join me on that day, please go to that URL, buy yourself a ticket. You'll get access to a private network. There's a private messenger group with me that you'll be part of as well. So you'll have some secret things that we're going to be providing there for you, but you're also going to get access to a private members group if you purchase a ticket. There's already some training as a bonus in there for you, but I'm really looking forward to delivering this live web event because the impact of this event is going to be global. Like I said, so far we're helping 100 families have lighting so far. If we fill this out, what I really want to do is help over 1,000 families in the world to have solar lighting in their homes. And I can only imagine the impact that that's going to have. I want to help as many women as possible to have vocational training in third world countries so they can get some jobs, gain some independence, support their families. And I want to help as many disadvantaged children to pay for their education for an entire year. So obviously the more people attend the event, the more people have an impact, or you will have an impact on in the world. And let me tell you, you're going to get a lot out of this event. All the recordings, all the slides we've given to you at $97. This is a ridiculous steal to attend. So hopefully you will come if you've been watching these videos and getting a lot out of them. Let me tell you what I'm going to be doing in the web event is going to be way more impacting for your business. So enough on that. I want to thank you for being here. I really appreciate you showing up. I will be here same time, same batch channel, 8 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. LA Pacific Standard Time. Talking about tactics, strategies to grow your agency business, giving you the best of what I know, helping and supporting you in any way that I can, whether it be strategy, tactics, helping you personally. Please hop on these calls. Please let other people know that they can get access to these resources. I think we're hitting close to 50 days in a row. I am going to keep going and keep doing this. Because at the end of the day, I want to help as many people as possible. Please also let people know they can attend the web event for good. If you really want to blitz your sales, increase revenues quickly and rapidly, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in this 4-hour live web event. And that is being held on the 23rd of May. So with that, I want to thank you for being here. George, I will talk about this in champions. I'll talk about the champions. So with that, I want to thank you for being here. Hope you get a lot from what we've talked about today. Think about your brand, think about your message, think about what you put out there and how you're seen by the market. Think about differentiating. Think about talking a bigger vision to your clients. Think about being the advisor, the trust advisor, someone who's going to stick with them and walk them through opportunities. So with that, I want to thank you all for being here. I look forward to seeing you on the next training, which will be tomorrow. Take care, everybody.